Hello everyone, we are Bridgade, a platform where we try to bridge the skill gap between the candidates who are trying to find a job of their interest but they lack certain skills and the recruiters who are looking out for skilled candidates. The idea is to train candidates, upskill them and make them job ready and finally provide them with a job opportunity. To know more about Bridgade, please visit our website and LinkedIn page. Link to the same is given in the description below. Our co-founder Saurabh Virmani, in collaboration with Spark Society of Hansaraj College, answered few of the most frequently asked questions and shared some practical insights into the corporate world to help students build a remarkable career. Now let's get started.
Everyone, I'm Saurabh Virmani, a qualified chartered accountant with an experience of 6+ years in the industry. I have completed my graduation in BCom Honors from Sri Venkateshwara College, batch of 2011-14. I'm currently working with KPMG India as an assistant manager in the deal advisory division. I had completed my articleship from SSKM, which is one of the top 10 audit firms in India. Alongside, I'm working on an initiative by the name of Bridgade, which tries to bring parity in the way things work in a world where everyone doesn't really have an access to resources which will get them the required skills or the necessary opportunities. The idea is to bridge the widening skill gap amongst the working class population. I'm here today to answer some of the frequently asked questions.
So, what are the qualities that you think are indispensable for a growth as an individual in today's competitive corporate world?
I believe that there are some traits that you can help that can help you in surviving the competitive corporate culture and help you grow along the way. It is essential to know your strength. Number one, it is essential to know your strength, understand your interest, assess the qualities that you want to inscribe with your name. The second would be to be passionate about the work that you do. Always stay self-motivated and be consistent. Number three, as per me, would be if stay accountable for the work that you do. Take responsibility for your action. Take ownership, be it in the job that you will be taking up, or that the job that you're working in, or any role that you're working in as a current, in any current position, or in life in general. Take responsibility for your action. It will be a good thing for you. I believe if you focus on yourself and the way you perform, it will eventually show up in the way others see you. Of course, there can be some other factors which will be beyond your control and which will impact your growth. But the way to overcome everything is just if you stay true to yourself. That has worked for me till date, and I believe that can work for you guys as well.
Since you are working in a deal advisory department as an assistant manager, would you like to share any of your experiences that developed your inclination towards this field?
In deal advisory, I have worked under two subdivisions. First is financial due diligence, and the second one is M&A consulting, which is essentially integration and separation. Before joining KPMG, I was working as an assurance auditor during my articleship. So in audit, you usually get to work on a client. Then you do limited reviews on that client. Limited reviews, nothing but the quarterly audits that that audit firms do for them. And then there are year-end audits. So basically, you're working for a client which belongs to a particular industry over the period of 1.5 year. In FTD, on the contrary, I got this opportunity to understand a lot of different businesses because different deals were happening in different segments in different industries. Because you get to see all different industries all together, and then this differentiating factor was one of the key reasons for me to shift to FDD from audit. Also, I was also fascinated by numbers, to be honest, and I believe that they do tell a story. If you think that if the numbers actually do tell a story, I know it's a dorky thing to say, but it really does. Other benefits of finding yourself in a deal advisory profile includes opportunity to interact with high profile clients. You get to interact with private equities, you get to interact with high corporates from various verticals, from various growth stages, seeing their processes clearly and understanding new and innovative business models. It basically also enhances your entrepreneurship mindset as well. It gives you that edge to have an entrepreneurial value in your mindset. Uh, Another factor one would be the understanding of market dynamics. You get a better understanding of investment in a deal overview altogether if you're working in a profile like this. If you're interested in financing, corporate finance, startup financing, growth financing, then this can be the starting point for your career.
Can you please share a few myth versus realities of this corporate life with us?
Now let's talk about some myths versus realities. There are some myths or the realities that I've listed down. I believe these are some notions and conventions basically that are being followed, and it is there. To be honest, it exists. For example, number one would be fixed working hours. To assume that we will have fixed working hours, you will have fixed working hours post graduation on in your corporate life. That is not a right assumption to make. In a profile like FDD, there are no fixed working hours. If you wish to work as a consultant in any field, either as a management consultant or an M&A consultant or any advisory person, or if you wish to do an CFO advisory, for example, as a profile, you should know that there are no fixed hours as such. And that shouldn't be a problem for you. That shouldn't actually be the judging criteria for you. The criteria should be, as long as you are interested in the profile and the role that you're doing, it would work out and you will take out time for that. So I believe this is one of the myths, that there are fixed working hours. That is not true. There are no fixed working hours as such. Number two would be around the work-life balance. I believe that there has been a lot of thoughts around poor and good work-life balance. It will depend upon you, of course. The thought of poor work-life balance is true to some extent. If you are a consultant and because your work revolves around the client's expectation, and then there are a number of factors which will influence the workload, such as your team, your profile that you're working in, your client relationships, your self-motivation, and so on. So it's not something that is evident and it is available there. Poor work-life balance exists, to be honest. That is a fact. Number third would be office politics. I know, since office politics is a critical part of the organization itself, since every organization have people coming from different backgrounds, different thoughts process, they have different thought process. It will always play a role in your growth, because it is about working with people, and then people have different mindset. It comes with different, they come with different opinions as well. It will play a role in your growth, and you'll get to see different sides of situations and different sides to every situation as well. Conditions would depend upon people that you are working with. So consider it as one of the key requisites for your from your perspective. When you're choosing an organization, choose an organization because of the way they treat their people. It's like choosing your organization just because the people are being treated nicely. It is relevant for you because it will ultimately play a critical role. It will play a critical role in your overall growth. The next one, I believe, is something that I think it can be a myth, that switching a job profile is difficult after a while when you're working in a niche profile. I believe this is somewhat it depends on the person who is actually looking out for a job. If you are looking out for a job, if you want to switch your profile and go to a different profile, then you'll have to have the requisite for that profile. The WorkX is, of course, a primary requisite. If you don't have a relevant WorkX, then you can try to build up your skills according to that profile, the requirement of the profile. Try to build theoretical skills around that. It will give you a level playing field, not really a level playing field, but it will give you a chance in getting in scoring in an interview or a discussion with the relevant people.
From your personal experience, do you think doing articleship from a big four rather than a lesser renowned firm would give you more opportunities and growth prospects? Does it make any difference in the longer
I
run?
believe in terms of exposure, I'd rather say a top 10 firm would be an ideal option because you get to learn a lot since there are fewer departments. You'd get to work on everything if you have the will to do it. As long as you're willing to do it, you'll get to work on a lot of things. From my personal experience, working in a top 10 firm in India worked out fine for me because now I'm at par with a person who had done their articleship from a big four firm. Having said that, Big Four gives you a bigger platform. It expands expands the number of possibilities. It actually expands your horizon to see forth the opportunities that are coming from. And there are n number of possibilities that you can do, and then there are things that you can actually work out to. It's important for you to know that there is a disparity between a person who is coming from a Big Four, joining in a Big Four as a post qualification, for example. For example, if he has done a CA or an MBA, he has come to Big Four from any other firm, there will be a disparity because it is inherent for them to have people who are coming from the same background. To be honest, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible to cope up with that disparity. To sum up, I'd say it will be good if you get an opportunity for an Big Four, for any Big Four, for example. But in case you don't, that's not the end of the times. You can still make it. You can still actually make it.
What is your advice to the young students who want to work in Big Four someday?
I believe the fundamentals should remain the same, to be honest. Have a clear goal in your mind. Keep smaller target for yourself. Upskill and learn about new things every day. It's important actually. It's important to have an area of interest. Have an area of interest. At least like make up your mind and have an area of interest. Read like your life depends on it. Read as much as you can. Read about things, read about books, there are documentaries, there are novels, there are biographies. Read those. Read like your life depends on it, to be honest. Corporate world gets competitive. It is there. It would get competitive, and the only way around it is knowing how to handle yourself. You are the only one who can make or break your career. No one else can do that. It gets competitive, and if you know how to handle yourself in that competition, you can do anything that you want to achieve. Since these are the big organizations, they have good pays and perks and policies and facilities altogether. They give you those benefits. However, I'd expect you to choose job or the role over the organization. I believe that if like it is similar to what you did when you were choosing a college. When you were choosing a college, you must have decided to go for a course over a college. In the similar sense, go for a job or a role over an organization. It's similar to that. It's similar to that. Also, I believe the times have changed, and you could be doing anything, to be honest. And why restrict yourself to the Big Fours only? You could be doing anything. You could be starting up something of your own, and yeah, why target just the Big Fours? You can be doing anything else.
So, what kind of a skill set does a person require to get into deal advisory?
Okay, before answering the next question, I'd just explain what we exactly do in the deal advisory part of the firm. What all the services are there which are offered as a deal advisory umbrella. Under the deal advisory umbrella, there are services including financial due diligence, valuations, M&A consulting, management consulting, M&A tax, CFO advisory, and a lot more. The whole crux of it is to make the life of the manager easier. You can do that by taking the accountability and onus for everything that you do, inspiring trust amongst your teammates. These are the value proposition that any firm would look for in a candidate. If you're looking to join after graduation without pursuing any professional course, then you would be hired as an analyst. And depending on the service line that you opt for, you would be expected to have like basic understandings of some sort of IGAPs, maybe if you're looking out for a job opportunity in FDD, post graduation. Taxation, if you're looking out for an M&A tax opportunity, valuation, then there are skills which are like evidently required everywhere. Would be PowerPoint presentations, Word, Excel, knowing how to operate research tools, knowing how to understand the data analytics. Then there are data analytics tools such as Tableau and Power BI. Since Big Fours are like moving away from Excel when it comes to data processing the data efficiently, they've been looking up for people who are actually keen in learning those data analytics tools, and then they are actually making a big thing out of it as well. If you were to ask me what exactly is something that you are supposed to do when you're joining the organization, it is about understanding that your job is to make the life of your manager easier as you can do. That can happen if you take the responsibility for your actions. Understand that it is important for a person who is handling a team for you. They don't have to micromanage you at any level, right? Make sure that you inspire that trust in the person. Make sure that they trust you to that level that they don't really believe that it is essential for them to check up on you every 5 minutes, understand what exactly are you doing, and then how things are actually working out for you. Learn that it will be important for you to take responsibility in that manner and understand this is actually important, because taking responsibility would ultimately show up in your character, and that would of course promote, or it will be a good thing for your career going forward. With that, I end up my session. I hope you got some of the answers, got a little clarity on the thought process. If in case you guys have any other questions or doubts, or if you want to follow up on any of the questions, the details of my profile and my details would be given in the description. Please reach out to me if in case there is any query or any doubt in your mind. I hope I can help you with that. Thank you so much.